Hello everyone, and we all know the COVID-19 pandemic is shaking the world economy and world trade consequently. This week, WTO economists released initial projections for the volume of global merchandise trade in the first half of the year. Now, their estimates point to an 18.5% drop in the second quarter of 2020 compared to the year before. Now, this decline is historically large. In fact, it will be the steepest on record. But there is an important silver lining here. The fall in trade could have been much worse. Just last April, the WTO's annual trade forecast examined how the pandemic and associated lockdowns would hit economic output and trade. Now, that forecast came up with two plausible scenarios for how much trade would contract this year. The better scenario, based on positive assumptions about the disease and the economic policy response, had trade falling by 13% over the course of this year. The pessimistic scenario put the decline at 32%, possibly more. We're currently on track for the more optimistic scenario. If trade volumes rebound by a relatively modest 2.5% per quarter for the rest of the year, then the overall decline for 2020 will be around 13%. In fact, we do see signs that trade may have bottomed out during the second quarter of 2020. Governments started to relax the strict social distancing measures and travel restrictions in force in April and May. For instance, after falling by 74% between the start of the year and mid-April, global commercial flights have risen by 58%. Now, it's true, however, that flight volumes as of mid-June are still less than half of what they used to be. Purchasing managers' indices for export orders also started to recover in May after registering historic declines in the month of April. Now, this is genuinely positive news, but we cannot afford to be complacent. A second wave of COVID-19 outbreaks would threaten both lives and livelihoods. Policy decisions will play an important role in determining the pace of economic recovery. For strong rebounds in output and trade in 2021, fiscal, monetary, and trade policies will all need to pull in the same direction. Closing markets to trade, for example, would mean uncertainty, supply shocks, weaker productivity, and lower living standards. Keeping markets open to trade flows would do the opposite precisely, so it would help deliver the growth and job creation that we all want. The WTO, sometimes together with other international organizations, will keep publishing reports on recent trade and investment measures. By shedding light on policy responses to COVID-19, these reports will contribute to transparency and offer governments and businesses precious and much needed information for well-informed decisions that move us in the right direction. Thank you for listening.